This video shows how to replace a right front door lock assembly or lock actuator on a 2010 Nissan Versa hatchback. The problem is that the hatchback would no longer open. I researched online and identified the bad part as the right front door lock actuator, part 80500-EL01B. I verified the part with Clifton B., a Nissan Master Auto Tech mechanic from the Just Answer Nissan forum. A September 2011 post on NissanHelp.com indicated that the repair at a dealer would cost about $340. I bought the part from a local dealer shipped to my home for about $112. The total elapsed time to replace the part was about 43 minutes. This video is about 30 minutes and was recorded with an iPhone 5. I apologize for the portrait and sometimes upside down video, but I hope it helps you. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is pop off this. And it pops off really simple. Okay? Alright? Next thing I'm going to do is take off this piece. And again, this pops out really simple. Hardest part is actually getting this out. Screwdriver here. Okay. That's all I do. Okay. Now I'm going to take the door off the frame. Again, it's just simple. You just have to make sure you do it nice and evenly so you don't break the little connectors. Before you do that, I'm going to take the screws out. Put them someplace where you're not going to lose them. Just give it a little push up. Door comes off. Nice and clean. Put it in a safe place. I'll put it in the back seat. Okay, I'm going to need to work with this piece and take off most of this plastic here. There's like a sealant around the outside. I'll just try to preserve that as best I can. Okay, it's a little cool this morning, so it's not as stringy as it can get. Let's see, it's stringing a little bit. I'm going to take this completely off because it'll just get all over me otherwise. And I need to pull this out. This is just a speaker. I'm just going to toss this aside so that the sticky side's up so it doesn't stick to the ground. You can see I got some on me. Sticky. Okay. All right. I'm just seeing if I can get this connector off without taking out the piece, so I could test the piece to see if it will work. I can't see how to pull it off, so I'm just gonna leave it as is now. I'm gonna eventually have to take this piece off and some of the other things on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off. I wish I knew the names of these things, but I don't. I'll try to maybe fill that in later. This just goes back, pops off. The cables, you just slide them up, and they're both different, so you don't have to worry about which one goes where. They just slide apart. Again, you pop that one out, and you're done. You set that aside. Carefully remove these so you don't break the clips. Okay, so that's it for now. You can stop recording for a second. Okay, there's a window guide inside here. Let me see. Let's see if I can. I can't really see in there. Oh, there it clears up. You can see the window guide is right here. This has to be taken out, and it's easy to get out, but it has to be really carefully. I don't know if you can see in there, probably not enough light, but yeah, you can see. When you put it back in, you have to make sure it lines up so the window will come down correctly. If not, the window will probably break when you lower it. So it fits kind of into a track that continues up the window. But you'll see in a second what this looks like when I take it out. I'm going to remove that window track I was just talking about. It's just one bolt. Comes out really easy. It's hard to get back in or to line up. This is what it looks like. Again, the window slides down here. It has to be lined up when you put it back in, or the window most likely will shatter if you put it all the way down. So we'll set that aside. Well, let me just show you. This is the part that we're replacing. I think they label it as a right front door lock actuator. This is what it looks like. You can see these are the pieces that I've done so far. It's a replacement. And you'll see more of what I take out in a second. Let's see what it looks like. It has an electrical connector here, and hopefully that's the part that controls the hatchback that won't work right now. We'll see in a second. Okay, you can stop. Okay, there's 3 bolts here that have to be removed. So I'll go ahead and remove that. It's a star bit. Let me see what number it is. It says T27 on it, if that's helpful. So I'm just going to go ahead and take those out. Part filled in, that's okay. See the bolts, I'm going to set them aside. Let me just show you what that looks like for the new piece. You can see these are the 3 bolts that I just removed inside the door. And you'll see I'm going to take the piece out now. There's one other thing I have to do to release the piece though. And that's to take off the door handle. Maybe come over this side. And if you come over here first, I'm going to remove, there's a piece of tape here covering a hole under here. We just put that piece of tape on there when we took it apart before, but there's a little sticky round piece of tape, really is all it is, that covers the screw. So if you get a shot of that screw inside there you go. And you might worry about losing that screw in the door, but you won't. It doesn't actually detach from the door handle. You'll see in a second. I think it's the T27, the same part. Let me see if it fits in there. Yeah. So I'm just going to loosen that as much as I can. So let me see if that's enough. Come over here. This part should come off now. Be very careful. There's some tabs on it that can break. These little tabs here can break off if you're not careful. This comes back and releases and comes out. There's 2 gaskets here. Make sure you don't lose those. I'm not going to take them off, but throw it there. So put that parts aside. Now the part that I'm replacing, the right front door lock actuator should be totally released. I should be able to pull that right out of the door right now. There is a part here, part of this loop, this foam covered loop that connects to the door handle. That's looped in here and locked, so under a little retaining clip, so it's a little difficult to get out, but not too bad. There we go. Let's see. Come back over here. These clips do have to be taken out. I forgot. So they do hold the piece up on the door to make it easier to put in, but they have to be taken out for it to be removed. So just set those aside. Again with the other parts. Now we should be able to get it out of there. Let's see. I just pushed it forward, and this whole piece should come out now. And what we hope is that oops, there's a little connector on here that has to be removed, sorry. Let's see if I can do that. Sometimes I have the hardest time with these connectors. Comes off. Looks like it's just stuck down inside there. Let me see. Nope, just slides right off. I'm sorry. It's not too hard. There's just a little clip on here that holds it in. So that should go back in nice. And we have the old part, and we have the new part. Let me see. Line them up the same way. It is the same. There's an R on it. It says right for the right hand side. Okay, so old, new. Good morning. Morning. So we'll set this old part away. Aside. Oh yeah, one thing over here. Come over here, please. You have to remove this. It just same as the other ones. Pops out. Just simply slides out. Little ball there. Set this aside to put back later. Oh, as I was saying, when we were removing the screw from the side of the door, it's locked in there, so you can't lose it. Okay. What I'm going to try to do first is, the back won't open, I'm going to try to just add. You can stop. Okay. Getting ready to put the piece back in now. Again, right front door actuator. This is the door handle, the inside portion of it. First thing I have to do before I put it in there, something I won't be able to do later. And there is a certain way to doing this to make sure things don't get tangled up. I think I'll be fine, but I may have to do it more than once. So, you drop the ball into the socket, and this is lubricated. Just bring it back, and it locks in. Just a little click. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to drop this in the door. Make sure I get this right. What happens is the window comes down in between here, so you have to be very careful that these parts are looped correctly. I actually have it backwards. So the window comes down in here, and that track that I showed you before actually sits in front of this. So nothing can cross over like this. It has to be totally separate. So this, you can see that's the screw. This is going to go up inside the door, and it's going to, we'll loop it around. You'll see in a second what I mean. This, putting it in this way, you can see the screws there. There's little clips that lock it into the door here that kind of, you put it in and then slide it back. So I'm just going to get it up in there. I'm holding this, you can see from the screws over here that it will be installed this way. So I'm kind of holding it that way so that I don't cross any of the cables over. So I'll get this up in here. Okay, it's just sitting in there. There's nothing holding it in. We'll do that in a second. But you're going to see that I'm going to slide this in. I'm going to loop it. And then I'm going to be ready to put the screws in. See, I'm keeping this. You can see that I'm keeping these separate, not crossed. Again, the window will be able to come down in the middle. I'm just going to temporarily lock them in, these clips. And then I'm going to move over and put the screws back into the actuator. So you remember the 3 screws? So you can come over here so you can see. I'm just going to raise it until it's in place. Oh, can you do me a favor? Mm-hmm. Can you go turn off that key? Okay. So I have to just line up the screws. There's really only one way it goes in, so it's not too hard. Just hand tighten them a little bit. Get them all in there at the same time, so make sure it's nice and flat. And I'm just going to get the screw all the way down, but not tighten it yet. So it sits nice. Okay. You can see it kind of self-levels and self-sits. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tighten it up all the way. It's nice and hand tight. Doesn't have to be super, super tight. It's not going to go anywhere. Okay. So that's done. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put the door handle back on. Sorry, the sun is getting in my eye. Okay, these little clips lock it in. They really just hold it in place. They don't, and you could easily break those too, so you have to be careful with them. They just kind of sit there nice. Oh, sorry. Let's do this right. That sits in, pushes back. Locks in. Next, I've got some grease in my hands I need to get off, but this kind of just sits in there until the screw is tightened. So I'm just going to go ahead, drop that in there, leave it there. Go get you can stop recording. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and tighten the screw. If you could get a look in there, you can see the screw again. Yeah, you got it? So you should. Okay. Just turn it until it gets tight. Just a little hand tight. It's good enough. We'll put the sticker back on that later. Okay. I'll go ahead and put this piece back in, and then I'll put the window guide in last, and you'll see how that. Well, as much as you can see it in the store, definitely you have to make sure it lines up with the window. But this is easy enough to put in here. There's only really one way it'll sit in there. Once we put this back in, we'll slide it in like that. So put it in the sockets and slide it back. I'll connect these first. I just have to take a look at them here. One's a ball, so we'll get the ball in there. Just click it in. And I can't see. I stop for a second. Okay. I had to take my glasses off. Couldn't see very well this close up. But there's a little hole. If you can see the hole, can you see it? Right there.
Yes. this is a little bar. It slides into the hole. So it's a little tricky because it'll turn on you. And then just lay it down in the little guide. You kind of have to push it forward a little bit and lock it into place. You can see opens the door, locks the door lock. Click it in. Next we'll go ahead and push it into the holes. Push it back, lock it into place. There's a screw there that has to be replaced. I'll get that now. Set on my glasses. Are you still recording? Mm-hmm. I'll edit this out later. Okay. So this is the screw. Just put it back in. Okay. One thing I forgot to do is put the connector back in. I should be able to do that without taking the apart. Let's see what happens. Should just click in. I should have showed you that from the outside, but there's only one way it can go in. You'll hear it click. It just goes straight in. There, so that's in there. It's clear where the guide's going to go, and just sits along the front of the door here. Okay, time to replace the window guide. This is what it looks like. Have to make sure it lines up with the window at the top of the window. There's a little tab here that helps you guide it in. There's a place where this tab will fit. That's, from the perspective, it's a little to the right. That's the wrong place to put it in. It'll be the wrong shape when you look in there. I don't think I could take a picture of it, but I'll try to do it. Do the best I can. Okay, so you remove the screw. I put it there temporarily. Hold it. Again, it's going to sit inside the door just like this. The window comes down. Let me see what I can get from the inside. Go ahead, stop. Okay, this is a shot inside the door. What you're seeing there in the middle of the photo, the black, there's a little gray piece to the right. That's the track, the window track. The window's above that. What we're going to do is put the extension in so that when you lower the window, it'll be kind of in this area. And I'll take a picture of it after I put it in. But it has to line up with that above part. That gray piece to the right has a little hole in it where that tab that I showed you will fit. That's not where you want to put it. It'll be too far to the right from this picture. So, okay, I'm going to stop recording. I won't be able to record while I'm putting the piece in, but you'll see it afterwards. Okay, I'm going to try to get this. You can see where the positioning in. There's that little tab that's on the end. There's a little hole there. Again, it's not the part to the right, but if you slide that up into there, it's a little tricky. I lost my view. Okay. Okay, now I've got it. It'll feel solid. It won't move around to the top. I know this is very difficult to see, but it's really important that you get that lined up. It can't move around. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put the screw in. Bottom. You can see it lines up here nicely. The window guide is solid. It doesn't move around. It lines up. I'm going to show you now. Inside here. I don't know if I have this upside down. I might have to correct it. But you could see the top window guide that was there before. And then the lower part. And they line up. It doesn't move. I'm trying to move it with my hand now. It doesn't move at all. It's very important that you make sure that it's won't move or your window will not open correctly and may even break. Okay. One last thing, there's that loop that I was telling you about. There's a little clip under here. I'm gonna put it back in there to keep it there so it doesn't get fouled up with the window. It's behind this styrofoam, so it's a little tough to get to. Okay, I've got it in there and that'll stay put. Okay, you can stop. Okay, so I'm gonna put the plastic back on the door. We're really finished with the inside part now. I could, once I hook this into this part, and I've already tested this, but once I hook this in, put it back in the door, we'll be able to open up the back, the hatchback again. So I'm going to go ahead. There's a couple things you have to be careful of here. You have the little speaker wire. It needs to go through the little speaker wire hole. I don't know what else to call it. This is for the door controls. And one little part right here that can be easily forgotten is loop it behind the handle. If not, you're going to see your plastic, once the finishing is on. Try to just line this up as best you can for the way it was before. Just kind of get it on there lightly to begin with, and you can make sure it's correct. It should be fit kind of taut.
Does it matter that it's like all moist now?
Yeah, that should be fine. Will you stop recording, please? Okay, so I just put it on lightly. Now I'm making sure it's taut. Could always do a voiceover later if you want to. Okay, gonna put the speaker wire back in, just clicks back in. Okay, now we're ready to put the door trim back on. I put that, stored it safely back here. Make sure you grab this wire for the door controls. Just bring it up in here so they can get to it later. Kind of just has to hang on here. Really can only fit one way. Okay, so you get that so that it's sitting in there nice. I don't think this is quite right. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Okay, there it goes. So it should fit in there nicely. You should see it tight at the top on both sides. The door handle should fit nicely through there. Make sure you have your connector available to you because you're going to lock in the little pins along the side now. Start from the top, work your way down. Just a little tap, little tap, little tap, little tap, little tap. All the way around. Nice and good and secure. Okay. Now we're going to put the window control and the door lock control back in. Just snap the connector in. Drop it in. Get the back seated first. And get the front until it clicks in. One more thing to do. This little trim piece. It might be difficult to get off, but just be careful. It should snap off with your hand pressure when you take it off, and the same thing going back. Okay, so we're done. Door should work. Unlock, manual unlock, power lock. Window should work. Wait, once I turn the key. And it should go down nice and clean, no funny sounds or anything. Perfect. And with any luck, we should be able to open up the back door, which we could not do before. And there you have it.